Aaron Rodgers finally gets to play an NFC Championship game in Lambeau, and I couldn't be more excited. How's it going, everyone? Bass here. As we know, the Packers beat the Rams 32-18 in the NFC Divisional round. Everyone touted it as to be a lower scoring game because the Rams defense is so good, but the Packers ended up scoring 32 points and putting up a lot of yards, which pretty much speaks dividends to how good this offense is, and at this rate, who can really stop them if they're playing at their best, which they are. So to just go over quickly some of the offensive stats, Aaron Rodgers 23 for 36, 296 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, 1 rushing. His rushing touchdown was a work of art, pump faked Leonard Floyd into space and ran it in. That dude went flying. Aaron Rodgers is just next level. He did miss a few throws. One was in the third quarter on the left side to MVS. It was a go route. One route, and he looked like he might have scored. There was a safety like kind of in the middle of the field, but MVS is a fast dude, so who knows, but it was definitely overthrown. He had a couple other balls that were kind of high, the one to MVS in the end zone for the first drive that they resulted in a field goal. You know, it hit MVS in the hands. As a receiver, you got to catch that. It is a high ball, but you're an NFL wide receiver. If it hits you in the hands, catch the ball. And then, of course, another one was to Lazard down the right sideline, which, of course, yeah, should have been caught by Lazard, but it was also kind of in a weird position. But, hey, at the end of the day, they should have been caught. And hopefully drops don't come to haunt them in the NFC Championship. Aaron Jones pretty much had his way with the #1 defense. 14 for 99, 1 touchdown, 60-yarder to start the second half. Pretty much every single running back on the Packers played well. Jamal Williams, 12 for 65. A.J. Dillon got some action early. He was 6 for 27, but then hurt himself on a run up the middle where he had fumbled, and thank God Aaron Rodgers was right place, right time, and scooped up the fumble and actually got back to where A.J. Dillon's line to gain was, so that was good. All 3 running backs together averaged 5.6 yards per carry, so they did whatever they wanted. Now, obviously, I know Aaron Donald was hurt. He wasn't 100%, but they contained him really well. As for the receiving end, the leading receiver was actually Allen Lazard with 4 for 96 yards and a touchdown. He had that 58-yarder in the fourth quarter, which was pretty much the dagger. Davante Adams had 9 for 66 and a touchdown, which is pretty good considering Ramsey was following him around most of the times. He had some snaps without Ramsey on him, but at the end of the day, Davante Adams beat Ramsey. Ramsey was talking all that shit. What happened? You got beat for that touchdown on the Packers' first touchdown, and then you were arms up in the air crying like a baby to your teammates when it was clearly man coverage and you were following them on the motion and you just got beat. That's the thing about Ramsey. It seems every time he gets beat, he goes away from the play a little bit, and at the end he's like, oh, where were you to his teammates, when it was clearly his assignment. Like, I remember seeing this one slant route where Davante took a quick slant, clearly beat Ramsey off the drop, and I think they were in cover 3, but still. The moment Ramsey got beat, he kind of just like shaded away. And there was no other receiver to that side, so it's not like he had to cover a go route or anything in that cover 3 scheme. And then Aaron Rodgers threw the quick slant, and he kind of just like looked at his teammate like the guy talks so much shit for being the best corner, and he's going to strap up any receiver, but Davante Adams pretty much said, hold my beer. The stats for Ramsey, let's see, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 55 yards, and a touchdown. A passer rating when targeted of 144.4. Bravo, Ramsey. You locked it up. Robert Tonyan, 4 receptions for 60 yards. Still does not have a drop on the season, which is phenomenal. Marquez Valdes-Scantling with 4 for 33. Would have had more if he had caught that touchdown, and then as well if Aaron Rodgers threw a better ball on that go route on the left sideline. EQ had 1 reception for 27 yards. So let's give some really, really, really good credit to this offensive line. This Rams defensive front is no joke. Aaron Donald is no joke. And like I said before, he is injured. I understand that. But this offensive line, without David Bakhtiari, the best left tackle in the league, didn't allow Aaron Rodgers to get touched by the #1 defense in the league. That is insane. And if they continue that play, it will mean a lot for next week's game versus Tampa Bay. You saw early Aaron Donald was getting mad, pulling on Elton Jenkins' face mask because Elton Jenkins was probably giving him the work. You saw Jalen Ramsey getting mad all the time. That's the beauty of Aaron Rodgers in this offense. If you get the defenders mad and annoyed, they're going to commit penalties, they're going to mess up, and that's what you need to do against the Bucs. The Packers clearly won the line of scrimmage on Saturday. They won the trenches, and there's no question about it. They had instant push on every run play, and it seemed like they had a few yards already for the running backs by the time the ball was in the running backs' hands. They owned that line of scrimmage, and this offensive line is probably the best offensive line I've ever seen for the Packers as far as I've been alive. Surprisingly enough, the highest PFF rated lineman for the Packers is Lucas Patrick, which I thought would honestly be our weak point because Donald's kind of in that area, but he played really well in the 82.2. Got to give him credit, stepped his game up, followed by Billy Turner at left tackle with a 76.2, which is also great to hear. Billy Turner's been an absolute beast this year. Him and Elton Jenkins have moved all around the line, and you've seen no difference. As much as it hurts that Bakhtiari got hurt, and we'll be without him for this next game and potentially the Super Bowl, there's been no difference. There's been no problem. Billy Turner has filled that role wonderfully. And then you got to also give credit to Rick Wagner, who's taking Billy Turner's spot, and he's played well as well. So this offensive line, like I said, just insane. Moving over to the defense, the game ball probably would go to Rashawn Gary. This guy has stepped his game up heavily in the past 8 weeks, especially considering he didn't really get many snaps last year. Definitely took his sophomore jump and did it well. Like I said, we're all the haters for Rashawn Gary. When he got drafted, everyone wanted to hate on that pick, but now he's arguably one of the better rushers on the Packers defense. He had an 81.2 PFF rating with a sack and a half. Rashawn Gary and Zadarius Smith both had 7 pressures apiece. Z had 1 sack. This team is getting way more pressures as this year goes on. In the first half of the year, they were kind of iffy on sacks and pressures. In the second half of the year, they're getting a ton more. Kenny Clark also had a great game. Better than Aaron Donald. Like I said, I'm not trying to shit on Aaron Donald. That dude is already a pretty much Hall of Famer. He's insane. He might even win Defensive Player of the Year again this year. But like I said, he was hurt. But Kenny Clark, just for last Saturday, if you just count that game, Kenny Clark played better than him. He had a sack and a half as well. What was great is that the Packers got pressure with 4 men. Time and time again, you'll see a 4-man rush just get stumped and the quarterback has all day to throw, or they'll bring out the wretched 3-man rush, which I'm about to talk about, and you obviously get nothing and they just find a guy wide open 20 yards down the field. The 3-man rush never works. So on Saturday, the 3-man rush, they brought it out 5 times, and the Rams got 62 yards on those 5 times they were against the 3-man rush. As for a 4-man rush, the Packers brought that out 18 times, and the Rams just got a total of 50 yards for those 18 attempts. So 5 for 62 or 18 for 50. Which one seems better? You know, I don't get the 3-man rush. Kind of weak. Another weird thing, Snacks Harrison only got 3 snaps, and I thought he put on a pretty good show week 17 against the Bears, so I don't really understand why he's not getting more snaps. Like, I didn't expect him to be starting fully, but he should at least be getting more than 3 snaps. I think he's a good player, and he can definitely help this football team, so I'm hoping he gets some more snaps against Tampa. Chris Barnes led the team in tackles after fracturing his thumb. He put the old club on, the old Nick Perry special, and should have had an interception if it wasn't for the club. So kudos to Chris Barnes, playing his heart out. You know, fractured thumb ain't no light work. He, as Jared Goff should know. So I definitely kudos out to Chris Barnes. Another linebacker that's playing well late in the season, actually Christian Kirksey, and he gets a lot of hate for especially what he was signed to by his contract, and of course in the beginning of the year he didn't play as well, then got hurt, came back, was kind of still shaky, but he's actually been a lot better this late in the year, and also on Saturday he played pretty damn well. Now I want to talk about a real lockdown corner, the real #1 corner in the NFL. The real should have been all-pro first team, not Ramsey, Jair Alexander, of course. 3 targets, 1 reception, -3 yards. The -3 yards came on that quick screen, which Jair has always gotten and always had their number on the quick screens for any team. He's always shutting that down, and he does so well against it. So Jair is the lockdown corner. And it's great because he's not on media talking trash. He's not saying, I'm going to strap up Devontae Adams. Obviously, they're on the same team, but he's not saying that against Robert Woods or whatever. He just does it. He doesn't have to say it. He just does it. His play shows and speaks for him. Overall, I'm super happy about this game. I'm not going to lie. Going into it, I was a little nervous. The Packers seem to stall against really good defenses in years past. You know, Seattle, San Fran, Broncos, those type of defenses in years past. So I was kind of nervous going in because the Rams are a really good defense. They are the #1 defense. I felt a little better when I saw Donald was really shaken up. But overall, 484 total yards on the number one defense. 8 for 12 third down efficiency. Didn't allow a sack. Owned the time of possession with 36 minutes and 12 seconds. And only punted 2 times. The offense ran over that defense and did whatever they wanted. And I'm so freaking hyped for this team. And I really think they can go in to Lambeau next Sunday and beat the Bucs and move on to the Super Bowl. The defense is going to have to do better against Tampa Bay. It seemed Jared Goff kind of had his way, even with a broken thumb, which was kind of odd. I thought he would play a lot worse considering his stat history in cold weather games, but he actually played pretty well. They're going to have to do better. They're going to have to force turnovers. You're going to have to make Tom Brady throw an interception or two or get a fumble. That's going to be key. And on the flip side, obviously not turning over the ball on offense, which the Packers are really good at, best in the league for not turning over the ball. But on the flip side of that, Tampa Bay has forced the most turnovers on defense. So as long as Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a really crap game like he did against Tampa Bay in Week 6, I believe, where he threw 2 interceptions that were definitely his fault, I think the Packers come away with a win here. It's in Lambeau. It's supposed to be around 28 degrees, 26 degrees. There's a chance of snow. I know Tom Brady can play in the cold, but the dude's still old. The rest of the team, it's going to be 77 in Tampa Bay on Sunday, so there's a huge difference. There's fans again, which is great. That was such a relief of fresh air, or breath of fresh air, should I say. And I'm extremely hyped for Sunday. It cannot come soon enough. On that note, hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your evening. As always, go Pack Go.